Hi, I'm Glenn Rogers, and this is American Perspectives. Today, we're going to be talking about the State of the Union. Not the kind of speech the president makes, but the idea that the United States of America is pretty divided today. So I titled this The Un-United States of America. There is no question that we are a very divided nation right now. I suspect that the only time the U.S. may have been more divided than it is right now was during and right after the Civil War. And that we were pretty divided then. We're probably not quite that bad now, but I think we're more divided than any other time since then. And the Democrats keep insisting that we need to be unified. We've got to bring the country together. And they blame President Trump for having divided the country. Well, I'm pretty sure that President Trump did not divide the country. In fact, I know for a fact that he didn't. When I was still a college professor, cultural studies was one of my specialties. I taught sociology for 13 years. And so I paid attention to what was going on in our society. And we were a very divided country long before Donald Trump ever even came on the scene. Donald Trump did not divide this country. What he did was see that we are a divided country, and he saw that there was a large group of people out here who were not being represented, and he tapped into their annoyance at not being heard, not being represented very effectively. And so he resonated with that group of people, and that's why he was so popular. But he didn't cause the divide. He just tapped into it, and it's why he was elected as president. But I suppose we can ask the question, and we should ask the question, why are we so divided? Why can't we get past whatever it is that's causing the division so that we can be unified? And this is one of the things that several of the Democrats said, you know, back when they were before the primaries, when they were giving speeches about why you should elect me and why, what I'll do and everything. And one of the things they talked about is, I will unite this country. I will bring us together so we can be one nation again. I don't see that happening. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. Why? Why can't we get past whatever it is that's dividing us? And I think the reason we can't is because of the nature of what it is that's causing the divide. The reason that we are a divided nation is because of the deeply held beliefs and values that are fundamental to each side. Okay, when I say each side, I'm talking about those on the right and those on the left. Now, it's important that we understand that if you move to the right of center, okay, you have a continuum. And you have people who are to the right, so they're a conservative, but they're at different places on the continuum. You can go way down to the far end where you're going to get the radical right, and you get people down there like the people who did their thing at the Capitol a few weeks ago and destroyed a lot of things, and people were hurt and injured, and some people were killed. All right, most of the people who were in Washington listening to Trump didn't go down to the Capitol and do that. Most, that was only a small percentage who did that, and they were the people that we would call the radical right, the people who engage in behaviors that are very wrong, and they shouldn't be doing that. And there are people to the left of them, but who are still on the right, still conservatives, and they're, they come this way, they get a little bit more moderate, but they're still to the right. Okay, so there's a whole continuum of people who are called conservatives. When you go over to the left, you have exactly the same thing. You can go way out on the left, and you have the radical left, which is the Marxist, socialist people who want to radically change America and make us into something that Karl Marx envisioned. But not everybody who's to the left wants that. Okay, there's a continuum there, and you have some people who are leftist, who are liberals, but they're not radical Marxist, and so forth and so on. But these people have beliefs and values, and those of us on the other side, and I'm one of them on this side, I'm a conservative, we have beliefs and values, and we're not going to give them up. You see, when President Trump was president, he was representing, in large part, the ideas, the beliefs and values of people on the right. Well, people on the left didn't just give up their beliefs and go, oh, well, okay, he's the president, we'll just follow along. They didn't do that. They held their beliefs, and they insisted that they were right. Well, now we have a situation that's reversed. We have a Democratic president, and he's saying, well, we want everybody to be unified. And what they mean by that is that they want us to relinquish our beliefs and our values and join in with them and all just be one big happy group of people sitting around, the campfire at night singing Kumbaya. Well, guess what? I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm certainly not going to be one of those. And I suspect that there's about 74 million other people out there who are not going to do that either. The beliefs that we have, the values that we have are fundamental to us, to who we are. And we're not going to just lay them aside and go following blindly along behind somebody that has a different set of beliefs and values. That's why this country is as divided as it is. Now, there are some very specific things that we can think about in relationship to this division, and they'll serve as illustrations of why we are a divided country. And so that's what I want to talk about right now. And I'm going to do it from giving you my point of view. I'm going to tell you why I can't be united with the other side. And maybe it would be different for you. Maybe the things I'm going to list here aren't on your list. Maybe you have a different list. And so maybe you disagree with me somewhat. That's okay. That's fine. You don't have to agree with me. But I'm going to tell you why I can't just follow along with the other side because I have beliefs and values that are important to me. Okay, so one reason that I can't be affiliated with the other side is because I can't be affiliated with a group of people who advocate that a woman has the right to kill her unborn baby. Okay, abortion. We're talking about abortion rights. Okay, I feel very strongly about that. And I'm not going to simply say, well, okay, we got a new guy in the White House, and so we're just going to have to agree that it's okay for millions of babies, unborn, yet to be born babies, to be killed each year. We're just going to have to do that in the name of unity. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that. And this is a very important topic. I don't have time to go into it all today, obviously, but I'm going to have another video on abortion where I explain why abortion is immoral. It's legal, but just because it's legal doesn't make it moral. And so we're going to be talking about that in one of our videos in the future. Another reason why I can't be affiliated with the other side is because I can't bring myself to be affiliated with a group of people who advocate that moral absolutes do not exist. Moral absolutes, what are those? Well, this is the idea that there are some things that are absolutely right all the time. They're never wrong. No matter the circumstances or the situation, these sorts of things are absolutely right. And then on the other side, there are some things that are absolutely wrong. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are or what the situation is. These sorts of things are wrong all the time, absolutely wrong. Now, if you believe what I just said, then you believe in moral absolutes. Many people would resist that idea and say, no, there are not and cannot be moral absolutes. Everything is simply what you want it to be, what you decide that it is. It depends on the circumstances and everything else. There cannot be any things that are absolutely right and absolutely wrong. Well, I disagree, and I'm pretty sure I can prove that to you. It's one of the things I used to do in the ethics classes that I used to teach. But let me just give you one example, a couple of examples, okay? I think it is absolutely immoral for one person to rape another person, okay? In other words, there is no set of circumstances, there's no situation where the moral thing to do is for one person to rape another person. Okay, that just is wrong. That doesn't make any sense. The idea that it could be under some circumstances okay for one person to rape another person. So that just doesn't work. There aren't any circumstances where the moral thing to do would be to torture a child. Okay, that just doesn't work. There are no circumstances, there's no situation where torturing a child is the right thing to do. You see, and you can go on and create a list of all sorts of things that are absolutely wrong, absolutely immoral. And on the other side, there are things that are absolutely right and good and moral. Okay? So moral absolutes exist, and I cannot be affiliated with a group of people who say, no, they don't. Okay? I can't do that, and I won't do that. I can't be associated with a group of people who want to move our nation toward socialism and all that means. And I understand what it means, and it means a lot more than just helping people who need help. You see, there are some people who think that's what socialism is. It's helping the poor. No, that's not socialism. We should help the poor. And in this country, we have all sorts of mechanisms for helping the poor. The United States of America does more to help poor people. Government and private citizens do more to help the poor in our country and around the world than any other nation on earth. By far. By far. Okay? But that's not socialism. Helping the poor isn't socialism. Socialism is another whole different thing. And again, that's something we'll talk about in another video. We'll talk about it at length. But I cannot be affiliated with a group of people who want to make America into a socialist society. I can't be affiliated with a group of people who are going to stand by silently while free speech is censored, so that we don't have free speech anymore. I can't stand by and watch that happen and be affiliated with a group of people who thinks it's okay for corporations or businesses to cut people off and stifle their freedom of speech. And you see, they would say, oh yeah, but they're saying ugly things. We can't be saying ugly, mean, insightful things. Well, I think one of the things it comes down to, one of the problems with that kind of reasoning is if you control the corporation and you're the one who can throw the switch to cut them off, what you decide is hate speech or ugly speech or unkind things or whatever, that sort of depends on your definition of those things, doesn't it? And I think everybody can see that what's happened right now, and I don't need to go into explaining what it is. If you're paying attention, you know what has happened. what it is they're making people be quiet because they're saying things that this side doesn't like, okay? If I don't like what you're saying, then you can't say it. And they're saying, if you call it hate speech or whatever, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who defines what is hate speech? Who defines what is unacceptable speech? That's a real problem with the concept of freedom of speech. And people are being silenced, they're being censored. And millions of people, not just a few, millions of people are being cut off, they're being censored. And a whole bunch of people in Washington are just standing by and letting it happen. And they don't want to stop it. Well, see, I have a problem with that. I don't want to be affiliated with those people. What about infringing on the Second Amendment, right? The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's what it says. Yet it is being infringed in many places in many different ways. And some people would like to infringe it right out of existence. There are some people who say the Second Amendment should be eliminated, shouldn't even be there, and nobody should have any guns at all for any reason. Well, I disagree. I think it's a fundamental right to keep and bear arms, the same as the Founding Fathers did. That's why they put that in there, and it needs to be there today for the same reasons it needed to be there near the end of the 1700s, you see. I can't be associated with people who want to get rid of that. I just can't. Creating an unfriendly business environment is another thing that I can't be associated with. I just am not going to be affiliated with people who are hurting the business and therefore the economic environment of our country. That's bad for everybody. Not just business people, it's bad for everybody. And I don't want to be affiliated with those people. And I could go on. Dozens of other things that ultimately hurt our society. I can't be affiliated with those people, okay? I have a different set of values and beliefs. Ideological unity is a nice thing if it could actually exist, okay? But which side is going to have to abandon their fundamental beliefs and values in order for us to be able to say we are a united society? We're all together in this. Well, see, we're not all together. And I'm not sure we're ever going to be together. We have to find a way to work around some of our challenges, some of our problems. But you see, what I think is the saddest thing in all of this is that there are those in our country who no longer hold the beliefs and values that made America the greatest nation in the world. That's the saddest thing, that there are people who have rejected our traditional beliefs and values and placed themselves in opposition to the rest of us. You see, those of us who are to the right of the middle, those of us who are conservatives, we haven't moved. We haven't gone anywhere. We believe the same stuff the founders believed, when this country was established, and understand how we interpret the Constitution and how it should be applied. And we're not the ones who changed. We haven't gone anywhere. It's the people on the left who've walked away from the Constitution, walked away from the beliefs and the values, and now espouse something different. And they want us just to follow along with them. No, I'm not going to follow along with them. I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to do that. And I think probably about half the people in America are not going to do that. So we have to find a way to work together in spite of what differences we have. But at the same time, we have to be willing to stand firm, you see, and there are certain things that we just can't compromise on. We have to insist that the Constitution is going to be recognized and followed, and rights are going to be upheld, and this just has to be the case. Division or no division. Okay, again, if you like what you're hearing when you watch this channel, it'd be great if you'd hit the thumbs up down below. That helps us out a lot. And hit the subscribe button. That's very helpful too. There's a place down below where you can leave comments. Would love to have you do that, and want to thank you very much for tuning in. I also want to mention a book I've written. It's called The Truth About Guns. Basic information about guns, the Second Amendment, gun violence, and gun control. This is a good overview of what's going on in our country in relationship to guns. And I think one of the important things is that people who are not really familiar with the Second Amendment, you know, what it says, why it says it, how it was understood by the founding fathers and things like that, this would be really helpful for you to read. In addition to some of the, I think, surprising statistics and data that actually exist, so that you know the truth about what's going on in our society in relationship to guns. So this is available through Barnes & Noble or through Amazon. You can get it in paperback or as an ebook. And so if you're interested in this whole issue about guns, which is one of the things, by the way, that is dividing our country in a very serious way. So if you'd like to find out what's going on, here's a book that will help you with that. But thank you for tuning in. Hope you'll tune in again.